Marquis and I we went to the same university for undergrad, so we were in the same trumpet studio at Northern Illinois University, and from there our paths diverged, with Marquis becoming one of the greatest trumpet players in the jazz idiom in the world today. When he recently, last year, posted that he had taken a position at Berklee and was going to be in the Boston area more frequently, my second thought after congratulations to Marquis was he would be amazing to get to work with our students. And so from that point on, that idea was kind of percolating, and we finally had it come to fruition this past January.
So we got a grant from the Needham Educational Foundation, and so we brought him in as a guest artist to both rehearse and perform with the jazz ensemble, both at the high school and at the Pollard Middle School.
He came in and rehearsed with the students, held a master class, and then both the middle school and the high school students were able to perform with him on a public concert.
And kind of just hang so we could be in the presence of a master.
In addition, we had a composer arrange 2 pieces of Marquis's music for each one of our groups. So 1 piece for the middle school ensemble, 1 piece from for the high school ensemble, off of several of Marquis's albums. So we actually world premiered these new arrangements at the concert with our students.
Why Marquis Hill? In this particular instance, both the middle school director, Steve Helt, and I knew him a little bit. Steve knew him more than I did because they'd gone to college together. And the reason why that was an asset is because Marquis is so wonderful. He is a really honest artist whose general vibe lacks all artifice, which makes him really easy to connect with, and also, I think, helps students feel welcomed.
I think his approach to music really was such a you know, I guess unique in a way, but such a kind of, I guess really a beautiful one, where it's like just the way he played, his tone, his soloing, you know, his love for the music really came through. And I think I just took a lot of inspiration from that, you know. He got up, there's a lot of like people who will get up and they'll like be showing off, they'll be doing whatever. He really cared about the music and really loved it, and I think that came through, and I think the group felt that as well. And so I think it was an awesome experience.
When Marquis walks into a room, you know, I think Wynton Marsalis defined soulfulness as just that feeling of like wanting to be in the same room with someone. And Marquis emanates soulfulness. He is just a cool person to hang out with.
When I told my students afterwards, that was one of the things that they really felt was that there was no you know, I am the artist and you are the student. There was definitely we're just a bunch of humans here making music together.
I mean, it was awesome. Like, I'm a big fan of Professor Hill's music. There's a lot of R&B music nowadays with a huge focus on lyrical complexity, but you often miss out on a depth of melodic complexity, and his playing and his style was just really refreshing to hear.
In my opinion, my favorite part of the whole experience was getting the opportunity to do a little, there was a lab we did, and we got to jam out in front of the 8th graders and provide an experience to them that I don't think a lot of them have had before. So that was really, really awesome.
The moment he walked in the room, you know, the vibe, the air, the energy shifted, and you know, the word I use way too much talking about this whole residency is just authenticity. You know, he exudes what is happening. He is representative of what is happening right now in jazz.
He is really at the vanguard of where Black American music is right now, both in his solo compositions and records, but also his work as a sideman with Micaiah McCraven.
I mean, he released an album like last week. That is, you know, he was on world tour premiering it last month. So he is what's happening right now, and I think that really speaks to our students who are able to go on their phones or on the internet and see him.
I think that's really is the amazing thing that I'm able to have kind of that opportunity, and that we were able to have that, is that, and especially with someone like, you know, Marquis Hill, like, you know, it's Marquis Hill, like he's really doing it. He's, you know, a jazz musician, you know, and I think it's just amazing to be able to do that and get to work with him.
He's really pushing the art forward in a way that it's not just you know, I am the best at jazz. It is, I'm a musician making new stuff, and that's the kind of music that we wanted to bring in to Needham. I think they certainly got a sense of him and his life as an artist, his process, and and what it could mean to be an artist themselves. I think that they also saw firsthand. I think this was one of the things I liked about this experience is that he does have a pretty extensive catalog of recorded music. So a lot of them spent some time checking out his music, and got to meet him afterwards and kind of realized he's just a person. When you make a record, it can feel like you're elevated. You have this big fancy album cover, your album sounds beautiful, it's been mixed and mastered and all that stuff, and in the end, that album is just a person with their instrument. And so I think kind of taking away some of the mystery of that was really helpful for them. And I think also seeing, in all of his master classes, I think Marquis was very good at breaking down the artifice of, I'm this brilliant player and you are the beginner. This is how we work to practice together.
It gave us the ability to do this, and it really was such an enriching experience to be able to work with him, and I think that that's what these grants allow.
I absolutely think that that the grant process was a success, and the program was a success, and would do again. I hope that this is the first of many similar grants.
These types of grants are absolutely beneficial. It's so typical for, especially, here in the suburbs, for kids to kind of be in their bubble. Even the study of Black American music, the study of jazz is just so many times, especially in a middle school setting, is just here in this room. And they read about it, or they see a video or that kind of thing, but they're not actually going to jazz concerts. They're not actually meeting and interacting with jazz artists and seeing what they're really trying to do.
I got to meet an artist that I never would have met otherwise, and I didn't know about him beforehand, so there's a whole genre of that type of music I'm now aware of and am listening to. So it definitely gave me that perspective, and also I think it provides value to many of the kids from Pollard, because a lot of those kids, they didn't have a knowledge of him, and so it probably and likely did open their eyes to that genre of music as well, and maybe inspired some of them to listen to it, play it, whatever, maybe even write it.
Artists are out there, and they love doing this kind of work, and I know that there are a lot of great artists that we can bring into the Needham Public Schools, so that we're not just turning it into, so that we're not just giving students a kind of, okay, this is the history of the music or art that we're doing. This is how art's made in the real world right now.
Like, we're trying to do something here in class and never actually seeing it being done live. To make the connection to sports, it's like trying to learn how to play basketball without ever watching the NBA or going to a game. And this is the musical equivalent of bringing in an NBA star to work with the basketball team. Like, we brought in someone who is world-renowned to work with our students right here, and that's amazing.
The best part of the experience was getting to hear Professor Hill's sound. It's just so different, you hear the same tone quality and the same timbre from a lot of different high school students, and as a matter of fact, a lot of the different players out there. But he was so unique in his approach to music in general, and it was really insightful.
I think it's an amazing experience to be able to work with such a professional musician as Marquis Hill. Definitely think this should continue in the future.
I absolutely hope to do more things like this with the Needham Education Foundation. I would recommend anybody who has an idea for their class or program that they don't think fits within your budget or fits within the initial scope of where your curriculum is. The Needham Education Foundation is great at supporting ideas like that to innovate and to make school not just a bubble where we all huddle in and study for 4 years and leave. It's an education is an interactive experience with the world, and the Needham Education Foundation can help make that possible.
He is what's happening right now, and I think that really speaks to our students who are able to go on their phones or on the internet and see him. It's someone who is a practicing musician at the highest level, and that is what we're trying to emulate. So it goes from the study of something to the experience of that thing they're studying.
I definitely think that the grant was an awesome opportunity for us, and it should definitely be replicated again. And it gives us a feeling of the kind of repertoire that we should be expected to play. It's less of a lecture and more of a fun experience that we get to be involved in.
It helped them, I think, listen better and be better, more complete consumers of the music.
I think every single person in that group was helped and was improved by that experience.